Hi you guys, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft, and I have a couple more page kits from my set of June page kits that I made that I didn't have a chance to get to before I went on vacation. And I've been worrying about this particular layout for a while because I have so many pictures. And I filtered online and I filtered after they were printed, and I just still have a lot. So I'm probably going to end up with something very collagey on one side and then something a little more laid out and featurey on the other side. This is the paper that I have pulled from the paper kit. I have this green, it's like a linen texture, and then white distressing on the edges. The same kind of paper in yellows, 2 yellows. And then I pulled this from Peachy Keen, this blue and white polka dot, which I kind of like having something. I have some stickers pulled from a Creative Memories spring kit that are mostly greens and yellows. I have this also from Peachy Keen, this yellow stripe, which I like a lot. A couple, like a rosette, a ticket, some white flowers, though I may not use these white flowers because this is particularly Bluebonnets that I'm taking a picture of. Just in case you are not familiar with Texas Bluebonnets, they are gorgeous and prolific in the springtime. And so our spring pilgrimage is to drive out to the countryside and take pictures in the Bluebonnets. We did not do that this year. This is right near our house, actually. And there was just a really nice field of Bluebonnets that year. And so I have a ton of pictures, and it's just of my daughter. I think I was in a couple. So I have some more blue scraps here. I'm not loving this blue with it. I do like this blue better, but this is the only sheet I have, and I used quite a bit of it to make the ephemera. So I don't know that I'll be able to use this. We'll see. And I did make some Bluebonnet ephemera. I spent a lot of time on this, you guys. And the problem was the file that I used, what you see is this dark blue background. It actually had a whole bunch of those pieces as separate cut files. That wasn't going to work. There was nothing to stick it to. So I made an offset of 0.01 inches, tiny offset, just so I had a base to stick things on. And then I decided I wouldn't fuss with all the offcuts from this because it just wasn't making sense to me. So I took the purple cuts. This is what it looked like, and you can tell it comes in different little pieces, and glued those on. So they approximate Bluebonnets. They're pretty good. They could be a little better, I think, but I have 5 of them, a couple different sizes, so I thought I could make a little cluster of them. Couple of clusters maybe on the page. So I gave up. I had cut enough for 7, but I gave up after 5 because it was so fussy. So that's what I have. I need to go off and figure out a layout for these and try and figure out what paper I might want to use. So let me take care of that. I will also pull out some white cardstock to match some of the photos also. So I'll be back. Okay, you guys, I'm back. It's been a while. Let me tell you, I'll go over that in just a minute. So I managed to fit 6 photos over here. I did trim them down. These are 4 by 6. This one's 4.5 by 3, I think. This one's just about full size. These I trimmed down a bit just so I could fit them on there with a little bit of space, because I still want a little bit of the yellow to show. And then I really hemmed and hawed. Do I just want it plain paper, or do I want to try and bring in this polka dot? So what I did is I created it's about 11.5, maybe not quite. Yeah, about 11.5 inches by 5.5 inches, or yeah, 5.5, yeah. Maybe 5.25. I cut a little extra off. Just to have a panel there, and then I did a 6.5 by 6.5 square here just to tie those two together. And that gives this a base, these photos a base, instead of having them just floating. And then I pulled out a whole bunch of my stickers. Nothing is stuck down yet. Trying to figure out where I want things to go. And I didn't have one that was big enough to be a title. This says, "Take time to smell the flowers." I mean, they're all super appropriate. And so I don't mind covering up a little bit of a couple of these photos and making this a cute little cluster over here, right? Maybe something, maybe I'll try and cover some of this. Maybe put this one behind and this one in front. I can make that work. Something like that, close enough. I'll fuss with that off camera. So there'll be a little cluster here. I still have these little extra things that I made, these little pinwheels I like. I have a couple of wordy bits here, blossoms, dreamer, smiles. So I think I'll tuck those behind this little cluster here. And then I want to do a title, and I was trying to figure it out. I've already got the word in bloom. It's a spring thing, so I didn't want to do spring. So I have this picture that I really couldn't fit on here because I have pictures of her, and I didn't do a full collage, which I've done before using the floral pictures. So I'm gonna try, I used some letter dies and tried to pick strategically locations for. So I ended up documenting a lot of the final assembly of this page. So I've sped it up. So here I'm just getting the letters for Texas out. Sometimes the die cuts are harder to work on photos just because of the multi-layers of the photo paper, I think. But they all came out eventually. And I purposefully put the letters where it was all purple, kind of, so that they would show up well and not be too, green or different colors. So here I'm just assembling everything. I do pop up a couple of the photos. And then I need to just double check. Those are not quite even, so just trying to get those centered. Approximately. I am really liking how the blue, the navy, and green pops off this off this yellow. I did, while I was away, I did matte 2 of the photos on the right page using the green paper. And then I also double matted the top left farmost picture, the feature picture. I double matted that using the green as well. So here I'm just trying to make that sentiment and get it to overlap with the Bluebonnets. And then now we're on the left-hand page. So again, just trying to get this centered. It does leave enough space for everything. So these pictures, because that yellow paper was pretty light, I didn't feel that every single picture needed to be matted. Excuse me. Just popping up one of the Bluebonnets in the cluster and then tucking the other one behind it just to give a little more dimension. And then I'm placing that so that you can just see that that corner is rounded. Otherwise, almost all the corners would be covered up. So this is the little sentiment that says spring has sprung. Oh no, it's a spring thing. And then I have these little wordy bits that I tuck in as part of that embellishment. And then it's time to get the title down. So I'm just trying to make sure that it's legible. This title, I didn't use a specific, loop or anything like that, but it's pretty easy to read. It's not too long a word. And this page is coming together nicely. So I have a few more wordy bits, and I took one of them off, the one that I think that says smile, and decided to move that to another location. And then I have a couple more bits that I'm just going to try and tuck in. And I decided I needed to at least write the date. I mean, no, you don't need to journal a lot, but I just wanted to be able to put the date on here. And so I got a little tag punch that I have, and then I used some yellow brads in it. And then instead of Nuvo drops or enamel dots, I decided to pull out some small buttons from my stash. So digging deep into the stash for some buttons. And I had yellow ones and green ones and even some little bluish purple hearts that I thought looked good. So I'm using those as my sprinkling. And we're about to do some close-ups. Texas in Bloom is the title. My Cricut Bluebonnets that I made. That were a little bit of a struggle. Another little embellishment cluster here with a Bluebonnet and then some wordy bits. And then on the second page, more of a collage, just cram those pictures on there. Oh, just found a butterfly. Brings me joy. Maybe this butterfly can go up here. I like that better. Little buttons, 2 layers of Bluebonnets here. All right, there you have it. A 2-page Texas springtime layout. Please give this video a thumbs up and come back for more layouts and cards.